Good evening, everybody, and welcome for another episode of the Cooldown Lab presented by Midwest Motorsports. I'm joined here tonight by James Johnson, the voice of Midwest Motorsports, and Justin Thaler, driver of the 2 Cup and 2 Road Series, along with the 2 Truck. Just coming off another week of awesome racing in the league. I had the Truck Series and Cup Series out in Homestead. Sorry, not Homeworth. So we're going to go ahead and get that stuff covered. But prior to doing that, we're just going to touch base on some things that happened that the host might want to talk about in real life. So, James, man, how you doing? How was your weekend?
I'm great, man. I'm great. Just, not too bad here in Atlanta. Getting ready for the storm coming through. It's sweeping through the East Coast right now, and yeah, surviving. Don't really notice too much, but yeah, great weekend of Midwest Motorsports racing, and yeah, that's about it, man. Just laying low, taking it easy.
Awesome. Justin, man, did you guys end up getting a ton of snow down there where you're at?
Nah, a couple inches. Not nothing to be concerned about. Just cold weather. Probably same as what you're getting.
Yeah. I know the weather guy said you were supposed to get just a little bit more than us, so it must not have worked out that way.
No, how much did you get?
Yeah, I'd say about 2 inches.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Just it's like flurrying always in the mornings. Then it lets up kind of like midday. So just trying to keep all the snow from getting compacted and freezing and ice on the driveways. So just heading out there every last couple of days and just cleaning up the driveway the best I can. So
Yeah.
about it.
Well,
How do
awesome.
the dogs handle the snow?
As what's that, James?
How do the dogs handle the snow, Justin?
They like it. If there's you kind of they get real excited when there's a little more than just a couple inches, because then they're just running around, acting like idiots and stuff, and it's fun. And I like to go out and they like if you throw snowballs at them, they try and catch them, then they bite them, and like they have nothing. It's like a disappearing trick. So they enjoy that. And years ago, when we had Bo and we had another yellow lab before we got Teddy. I made a huge like snowman in the backyard one year, and for whatever reason they just wanted to destroy it. So like they would just knock it over, and then like the bottom, base of the snowman's always the biggest part. And basically after the first day, it was just like they would just go at it, claw at it, dig at it. So it didn't last very long, but they love the snow. They have a good time in it.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I know that big snowstorm came through here. Norm posted a picture in the group Discord. Can't remember if it was in the general or where it was at, but showing it's 20 miles east of his house. Somebody looked like they had at least like 2 feet almost of snow.
Mm-hmm.
So thankful we didn't end up getting that. I mean, I don't mind a little bit of snow every now and again, but I really hate cleaning the stuff up. So
Why? You have a really nice free snowblower that somebody was kind enough to give you.
yes, yep, but you still have to run it, and you still have to be out there in the cold. So,
Jeez.
Awesome. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and hop into it this week. So, we'll go ahead and get started with our segment this week in motorsports. Justin, you have anything for us this week, or are you tapped out?
Oh, not really. I'm just. Are we in? How much longer we got till the Daytona 500?
I think we're down to a little over a month.
I think it's like 40 some days. But before that, we have the Daytona 24. So, that'll be coming up before we know it. We have the. Well, I guess it's not really. Is it the Daytona? Or it was technically the Rolex, I guess they call it. So that's at the end of the month. January 23rd through the 26th.
Yeah.
We have the iRacing special events coming up. So this weekend is the Roar before the 24th. So if you're a road guy or you just like the Daytona road course, you'll have your choice at the GT4 class, the LMP3 class, and the TCR class now. So 3 car classes running in the Roar, and then the week after, the 17th, is the iRacing Rolex 24. So some
Yeah.
exciting stuff in the sim world of real racing to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm actually throwing a question up in the YouTube chat right now to see how many people are planning on running in that either the Roar or the Daytona 24.
Are you gonna do it?
The Roar?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually I'll probably end up doing it on Saturday. My Fridays are actually, how long is the race? Is it like an hour? 2?
I believe it's a 2-hour solo race.
I might be able to slide that in Friday night. We'll see. But it's
I
either
think
gonna be Friday or Saturday.
Yeah, I think the first time slot. Let me see if I can get the official special events calendar here. If it doesn't make me okay, cool. So 2200 GMT, I believe, is 5 Eastern
5
Standard
p.m.
Time. Yep. So you got that on Friday, and then 7 GMT on Saturday, which I don't know what that converts to. And then 12
Man,
12 noon GMT. 6, yeah, they load it up, and then it looks like Sundays. I don't know what 0 is GMT. I don't have my handy converter, but you have 30-minute warm up, so 30-minute practice. Then you have 8-minute 2 laps low and quali. So I was wrong. It's not 2 hours. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes.
Oh.
144 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll probably end up hopping in. Like I said, either it's going to be Friday or Saturday. So, car choice looks like you're getting the. Oh, hey, the Porsche GT4. GT4s are in it. The TCRs
And the LMP
and
3s.
yeah, LMP3s.
Mm-hmm.
So ought to be a pretty fun group. Hope for some good results out of that. What car are you thinking about running, Jay?
Probably the TCR.
No kidding. The Civic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't put the new Beamer in there as well. I guess it's official. The Beamer doesn't officially run in that, but
Yeah.
I feel like it would have been a pretty good shakeup.
Yeah, I'll probably run the TCR just because it's super fun. Had good luck in it last year. Got second in my split.
That's awesome.
Plus, I know Steve's probably going to run the. I don't know what time slot Steve is going to run. Steve Hansel, our points admin of the league. So I'm going to figure out when he's going to run. If I can make that one, hopefully get in the same split. Because if anybody here knows Steve, he loves driving the TCR. So he'll be in the TCR as well. So maybe we can get caught up in the same session.
Yeah. Oh, good. Anybody looking forward to it this weekend? We start some endurance league racing. Well, endurance racing and iRacing. So it's not league related, but it's official. Hop in. It's a good time as long as you don't get taken out by some rando really early. And that's the hope. We're going to try and put as much good juju out there as we can regarding the Daytona 24. That everybody has a nice long race and nobody gets the gremlins early. So.
Mm-hmm.
James, man, what do you got for this week?
Well, I did read up a little bit on the Tulsa shootout, and which is an indoor dirt midget race, like in a stadium. And if you've never seen them, these midgets wound out sideways, dirt slinging everywhere. Pretty awesome to watch, especially at the top level. But there's so many entries. Like I say, if you've never seen it or read about it, Tulsa Shootout is a good Google search. And this year, they actually also have they call them the outlaw carts, where the bushes are, Brexton Bush. The kids usually get their starts in. Of course, there's grown-ups in it too, but Brexton Bush lands his first junior sprint. Golden Driller is the trophy, the Golden Driller at the Tulsa Shootout. So looks like Brexton Bush is going to be a name we're going to hear in the future of racing. But shout out to Kyle Larson for winning the whole thing again. This time he did not have the iRacing sponsor, I believe, as his main sponsor. But he has had the iRacing on his car the last couple of years. You guys like watching that, or at least watching the highlights?
Yeah, I catch highlights from time to time.
Yeah, if I'm scrolling through X, there's a lot of highlights from the people I follow. So I usually just like watch a little bit of that.
Might pop up on your YouTube feed if you're. I know we're all asphalt over here, but dirt racing's pretty cool too. Big fan. And also, I scrolled across YouTube of the road to Cadillac's road to Le Mans 24, and it was pretty incredible. Hour and a half show of the preseason and how they got working their way through 24 hours of Daytona and then the whole IMSA season to get to Le Mans. Deep dive into the stuff that goes on and how many thousands of people and millions of dollars are spent just trying to go fast. The Cadillac team, and yes, it was incredible. Definitely recommend it. It's called No Perfect Formula, and they spotlight on Cadillac. So No Perfect Formula on YouTube. Good watch.
Awesome. So the only thing I got for this week, and it's not league racing related. It has something to do with NASCAR in a way, but James, you listen to Door Bump Clear?
Yeah, I have not heard him in the off season, but
yeah, they don't record as soon as the season ends. They take their holiday break, and normally they'll do a Christmas episode where they'll have like Tyler Reddick on, and they'll go through and do a bunch of shenanigans. Did you see that Brett Griffin left?
yeah, he packed up.
Yep. So today they revealed the new crew. So it wasn't just Brett they changed out. So starting after I don't know if it's the week before Daytona or the week after Daytona, whenever their first episode is, but it's going to be a different crew. It's going to be Tommy Baldwin along with Casey or Carson Elledge. Carson Elledge. She was in when Casey Boat was off with her pregnancy recently. She's a really good host, and Freddie Kraft are going to be the hosts for the show. So TJ Majors, Brett Griffin, and Casey Boat are all removed from the show. So interesting. Yeah, interesting to see TJ kind of step away from it. Honestly, I'm eager to see or hear how Tommy is, because Brett was one of those voices that was dissenting, where if something needed said, he'll say it. Although a lot of times it was controversial, but you kind of need that in a podcast. And Casey, I can live with. I mean, there were times where she would just, ramble on about things, or you just wouldn't even know she's there because the guys would talk so much. So it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out, and if it's still, the podcast I choose to tune into after every Sunday race.
I loved it. I thought it was a great show, and I liked Casey. I thought she was funny.
Yeah, she had moments, where she would insert something that was kind of funny for the moment and such. But I feel like losing Brett, in my opinion's a little bit more of a shot to the. I'm trying to think of what the word is for that. A shot to what that show meant.
Yeah.
Because sure, he had some controversial takes, but he said what needed to be said at times, and other times he said things that you could disagree with wholly. But you kind of need that person on there that can stir the pot a little bit and get the people up in arms.
They really had good chemistry, and I think that's what really created the show in the first place. Because they're spotters, so I really liked Brett's outlook on the league, the whole Cup Series itself and NASCAR in general. A lot of respect for Brett. So we're definitely going to miss him. That's a big change. That's a dump and reload for door bumper clear.
Yeah. So interesting to see that happen. A lot of people are speculating that TJ is going to go sit on Dale Jr.'s show, or that Brad's going to have him too busy to be on a podcast. So we'll see how everything goes. And again, I mean, I guess that's things change. Your podcast, they either evolve or devolve into something that you don't want to listen to anymore. So we'll see how this one goes. Hopefully it's something that everybody can get behind, and the additions are somebody that or something that keep the show going and thriving.
I don't think we've heard the last of DJ Majors, maybe even Brett Griffin. You never know.
No, I'm with you on that one. Brett's probably cooking up something, but
yeah.
All right. So with the conclusion of This Week in Motorsports, we're going to go ahead and get into the meat of the podcast, guys. So Road Series, guys. Are you feeling it? You guys feeling the urge to race here? I've been seeing a lot of people putting up hosted sessions throughout the last couple of weeks. John Daniels put one up, although it wasn't an exact replica of what we're running. You did see a lot of GT3, GT4 cars out at Charlotte Roval, which I did not participate in. Justin, did you participate in that?
No, I did not make it to that one.
Yeah, looks like a great time. The Charlotte Roval is a fun track, even in the road cars. I feel so. I guess it went well. A lot of people were posting about it, so good job, John, putting up a good session for everybody to practice in. But
I decided to eat too much sausage. Oh, I did.
That was a clip from the Roval. All the turtles there, sausage curbs.
Yeah. So the league has a practice session up for tomorrow. If you're looking at the screen, we have the information on there, and it's more so a shakedown, I would say, to get the rust off of everybody. Justin, is that a appropriate term there?
Yeah, kind of just a preseason race. Mostly due to the fact we're going into a legitimate. I wouldn't say. Let me rephrase that. We're going into two separate car classes being on the track at the same time in different car classes. So it's not really. So the pro drivers, if you were in pro last season, where your I rating is above, I want to say the league median is like 1780 or something I rating. So the new drivers who've been signed up for this season, if they're above that, they'll be in the pro class. The AM division is made up of existing AM drivers or anybody who has joined that is below that I rating. So, instead of pros passing you in the same machinery, they're going to be in a little higher performing cars in the GT3 class. So it's a good way, I think, for everybody to get used to dealing with some traffic they weren't really used to before. Pro drivers are going to come up a lot faster on the AM drivers than they did last season. So, and it's going to be completely different for the AM drivers as well, having those guys, the closing speed and the exit speed of the GT3 class compared to the GT4. So, just kind of a thing. Hopefully, we get a lot of drivers show up. I think last I checked, we had about 34, which was a really good turnout. Looks like we're up to 35 now. So, everybody kind of gets to be on track with some new faces. Get used to familiar faces, maybe in different cars. So, a lot of the AM drivers kind of switched up some of their manufacturers than what they were last season. So it's going to be confusing for James. It's good practice for our broadcast team. They're going to get used to new cars, new drivers, new numbers. I mean, they're going to be rookies again. Let's just put it that way. We do this to ensure the success of our broadcast team.
Much appreciated. Get the words out of my mouth. I'm really looking forward to the new season and this preseason race. Again, just like Justin said, it's going to help the broadcast as much as it's going to help you guys, and I'm sure it's going to help Josh to understand, the flow of things. So bear with us. It may not be, all the bugs worked out. It might even take a couple races in, but there's a lot to look forward to this next season.
Yeah. One of the things, there's been some rules changes that affect the starting procedure and things like that, and the qualifying procedure. So, I've beaten the horse. If the horse was a cat, I beat the 9 lives out of it. So, make sure that if you are listening and you are in the league, that you go to the Road Series or go to the website, go to the Road Series channel, go to the rule book, click on the link and read it, or go directly to the website, read the rule book. So, yeah, quite the few changes, but it's gonna be interesting. We're excited. Hopefully the participation's there, and it's not one class being overly populated versus the other. That's the last thing we want to see. But it's an experiment, and that's what the masses voted on for next season. So, counting on you to. This is what you wanted. We're counting on you to show up and compete every week and have some fun.
So just like the season, we're going to have the split qualifying format and the split starts. Is that right?
The quali format is going to be different. It's still going to be open. There is. You're making me spoon feed the rules, James. You know that, right?
Okay, I know. Read the rules. You got to send me the link to the.
But since you asked, so qualifying the total length of qualifying has been expanded to 20 minutes. There's a caveat. It's still open qualifying. The first 10 minutes of qualifying is for AM drivers and AM drivers only. Once the timer reaches the 10 minutes, Josh will release the Pro Class drivers, the GT3s, who have the remaining amount of qualifying at 10 minutes. So that way you're not going to have pros and AMs trying to qualify and really stumbling over each other. So we split it into each class.
So the top qualifier of the AMs, I'm just trying to figure out, talk it through it. So not only that me and Adam can work out the broadcast, but for everybody that's listening, all thousands of you guys listening, the AM pole sitter, how far does he have to drop back for the split start when they're coming to the green?
Minimum of 5 seconds.
Cool. Just look at your relative and they'll tell you way to start. I guess it's up to the AM drivers.
Yeah, the AM leader will see, where that last place, pro driver is. So he needs to maintain at minimum a 5-second gap to the last place in the pro position.
And we're going live with this in the practice session tomorrow, right?
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
Okay, no, that was just a question. That's all.
And all league rules apply, buddy.
Awesome. Good. So everybody can get a nice, thorough practice in without receiving a official league penalty if for some reason you screw up. Not going to say you won't get a stern talking to by either Justin or race
All league
control Todd.
penalties apply.
So,
well, I mean, there's no way to fluff it.
Join us tomorrow in this practice session. What we'd like to do is we'd like to get as many people as possible in this session so we can not only get a good feel for how these cars are going to react, but I can guarantee the admin side of this would love to see how this broadcast PC is going to run with 40 plus cars on the same track. I know we're what's our sign up at? We're at what 60 signups?
No, I think we have like 58, so we're like teetering right on the cusp of the max
capacity.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a great problem to have, but we're gonna have to do something if we reach that point.
Yeah, got to turn off the spigot somewhere.
Well, to be honest, I mean, I'm not really depending on every single road series driver attending every single week either. I mean, there's always going to be a handful maybe that aren't able to make it, and we get it,
Yep.
So.
Yep. So again, information on screen, guys. Join us. I didn't look at the session details by chance. Justin, do you know off the top of your head, is it a daytime race and is there rain?
It is a daytime race, and we're using the Tempest system.
Oh, 50-50. I like it.
Could be. I'm pretty sure it said there was no prediction of rain. It might be morning, like afternoon. I mean, it's a daytime race, right? But it is found in the league sessions. It's not in the hosted. So, the points won't go towards it. So, towards the season, it'll get tossed out. But it's not in the hosted. It is in the league session. But yeah, well, it's looking at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. No chance of rain.
As of right now. Well, thankfully, that screenshot you guys are seeing on the screen there was our night race. So thanks, Chris Hopper, for getting us the. Well, somebody took a screenshot of his car, and the legend goes that it was 3 turns later. It was in a bin somewhere.
I think that was a generous assumption too.
Oh, a generous assumption. So it could have been that quarter there, off in the distance. So we will we'll follow up on this practice session next week and see how everything went. Again, practice session there, guys. You'll see it in the road channel too. So we'll see you out there. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and move on to. Ooh. Okay, yeah, right in the trucks. All right, guys. So Truck Series was out at Homestead, Miami. So I didn't personally get a chance to watch this one just yet. So I can't really tell you how everything went, but that's why I have these two guys on, James and Justin. Justin participated in the race. James caught it from the sky. Wow. You had some assistance too, correct?
Yeah, me and Walker had a great time calling the incredible action the Truck Series always provides. This week, they were at the Homestead Miami track for 101 laps. Competition caution came out at lap 15. Dustin, Brian Stedel, and Ian Silva were on the front row. It seemed like for the first couple of restarts, especially, the top 3 kind of run away, and then they'd fan out and come back together. Man, the trucks just were doing a great job, especially the first half of the race, I'd say. Everybody was taking and giving. Once the front three, after the first couple of laps, everybody kind of mellowed out. The top three pulled away, getting clean air and able to go. But after that, there was some incredible action from fourth all the way back to 20th and beyond. They were 2 wide, 5 deep, 3 wide in the corners, just awesome Homestead Miami racing. 18 to 20 degrees banking, paperclip, mile and a half, really good racing. I do have a question before we get started on the racing action as it progressed. And believe me, there was a lot of action, so don't go anywhere. But I want to ask Justin about clean air versus dirty air. And is that something you can really feel? And was that a big factor at Miami this weekend, the trucks?
Yes, I would say. Especially if you're running the high line, because you're carrying typically more speed on entry and exit. Obviously out of the exit. So yeah, like if you were right on somebody coming into a corner or something, you could definitely feel, the air. You can get tight and everything else like that, and then you're up into the wall and everything else. So yeah, you could definitely feel it.
Yeah, I think that really played a factor, knowing or helping you decide if you're going to run right behind somebody or as you go into corner entry, break it off. And you kind of have to go where they don't go to make sure you get clean air. So there was a lot of, I don't know which way is he going to go. And then you have to adjust on the fly. And that just got to be really intense for 100 laps when you're 3 wide, trying to figure out where everybody is. The competition comes out at lap 15. Mark Cochran and Brandon Cotton, surprise, surprise, decided to stay out. So fuel window is, I think, like 30 laps or so. Is that right? Somewhere around there? In the truck?
Yeah, probably about that, yeah.
Okay. So lap 26, Justin Glickner gets sideways, saves it, and then he doesn't save it, gets back into the 22. The 22, they argue over asphalt, let's just put it that way. They bring out a caution at lap 26. And that was the first caution. And that's when everybody decides to come in and get tires or not get tires as they chose. 3 tires on the floor, so you're going to go at least 1 or maybe 2 pit stops without taking tires. Then the next caution was brought out on lap 54 when, during a pit cycle, the 11 is in the lead. He's the first one to come in and start the pit cycles. That gives the 5 the lead, Brandon Cotton. 11 comes out of the pits and on cold tires gets dirty air behind Chris Thaler and slides into Travis Jones. And 11 is nose first into the wall. So your top pole position and top qualifier, leader of the race, coming out of the pits, things are going perfect for him. All of a sudden, he's nose first into the wall, goes a lap down. So, yeah, that's not fun. The 96 did not need repairs, so he stays out. And that cycle, it happened right in the middle of a pit cycle where there were 15 cars on the lead lap at that point.
Like the worst time for a caution to come out is during the pit cycle. That traps a lot of people. And I mean, it screws strategy royally, but it traps a lot of people in a very bad position.
Half the field, yep, including the leader. Well, the previous leader. Yeah, it was crazy. So we go back green racing and into another pit cycle. And during this pit cycle, the 11 and Ryan Bates, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly which number Ryan Bates is, but Dustin Reinstedel and Ryan Bates argue over asphalt again and brings out another caution. However, this time, the caution was brought out. And I think there was a little bit of controversy in this specific caution. And again, this was at lap. Oh Lordy. I'm sorry. This was. I don't remember. See, I didn't write down exactly how many laps were left when this caution came out, but it was at the last pit cycle. So I'd say like probably 30 laps to go or so. The 11 comes into Ryan Bates and keeps going. Ryan Bates keeps going, and it brings out a caution, but caution was not from the contact between the 11 and Dustin Reinstedel and Ryan Bates, but Ryan Bates was probably 30, 40 miles an hour slower trying to, he must have taken damage on his wheel or something got out of whack and he was going super slow. This happened going into turn 3 when the contact was. 11 kept going. Ryan Bates was trying to clean it up, get it back together, and by the time he got just about to the start-finish line, there's a pack of about 15 trucks coming up behind Bates. And so Josh Watt does the right thing and throws the caution before he gets run over. Justin, I think you were one of those that narrowly avoided wrecking as you went past him in front of that pack of trucks that was behind you. Is that right?
Yeah, it was not ideal.
Yeah,
I mean, it was tough because I think there was somebody either on my inside or above me, and that truck was so slow, and like he was kind of like there's maybe a lane and a half, if that, like at the top, down the front stretch, and so it was hard to like get through all that. Unless that might have been one actually. I think I got somebody made contact with me actually. I think as I tried to get away from that. I don't remember.
Yeah, it was chaos. So it was a good yellow, but the yellow was for a slow car on the track, not because of the contact between Dustin and Ryan. So I think that's where some of the confusion came. But it was very interesting because Michael Samia was the leader at this time. And although the 11 made contact going into 3 when the caution came out, Dustin was still a lap down when the caution came out. So he's in front of Brandon Cotton, who Brandon Cotton in the 5 was good to go to the end, and he was almost a full lap in front of Dustin. He was also a lap behind Michael Samia, but anyway, Dustin gets the lucky dog. He is the first car a lap down in front of Brandon Cotton. So Dustin gets the lucky dog, cycles back around, and then everybody else gets the wave around who was on the lead lap. So anyway, the 11 goes from a lap down to being on a restart on the lead lap. Now he's in the back, but again, there were only like 12 or 13 cars on the lead lap. So after being a lap down at the previous caution, now finds himself on the lead lap, like 13th or 14th place, with guys that were good to go to the end behind him. So I don't know if Dustin went to church the previous Sunday or did some good things to get in good graces, but sometimes the race works your way, and this was definitely Dustin Reinstedel's race could have been a lot worse. But another interesting point about this restart was that it came out and Michael Samia came in to the pit, and of course everybody comes into the pits, and Steve Hansel, 24, the Pepto Bismol truck, our buddy Steve beats the 3 out of the pits and starts on the front row as a control truck. So shout out to you, Steve Hansel. I don't know if he just took 2 or didn't take any tires and had enough fuel to just need a little splash and get out in front. But Steve Hansel pulling some strategy to get the lead. And yeah, so we're going racing again with less than 30 laps to go. All right, so that was great. The 77 also gained some spots out of the pits. So up front is the 24 and the 3. Travis Jones, along with Eric Thaler up front. And Eric Thaler was on the move. He was doing great. He avoids the 77 as much as he could, but slides into the 96. And the 96, unfortunately, takes out Steve Hansel's dreams of a good race. So that was the end of Steve Hansel's race. Unfortunately, that was with 10 laps to go. The final restart with 8 to go. 3 in the 15 are on the front row. 1196 on the second row. So Dustin Rysdale's made it all the way back up to the second row. Eric Thaler decides to run the top. And it seems like the bottom must have been the fast line because the last 10 laps were incredibly awesome. Good, hard racing, but almost said Miami. I guess the top was the slow way around. And Eric usually is better about maintaining speed, but couldn't do it. Dropped back outside of the top 3. They end up 3 for Michael Samia with the win. Dustin Rysdale second. Nicholas Aslan third in the 48. Nicholas Aslan started 6th at that final restart and made it all the way up to 3rd. So really good racing, good interviews afterwards. Everybody was pretty happy. I know Michael Samia is happy to have his first win of the truck season.
Yeah, it's
Well
good to
deserved.
see that 3 in there, getting the truck win. He played
not-
some. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You finish.
I was gonna say he plays some really crazy strategy games at times, and it kind of has me in the cockpit, kind of scratching my head like, "What's the 3 planning at here?" But to see this one work out for him, that's good. Good to see him cross the finish line and get a win.
And it's good to see a number 3 win without having to pull a Ty Dillon, you know?
Oh, yeah. Nope, he won it on merit, 100%. Didn't take anybody out.
Yeah, well deserving, Michael.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and check out the points for the truck series. Looks like Dustin there. Am I looking at the right point?
Yeah, new
Dustin has
points.
the lead there?
Yeah. Robert Sanders finished 7th. And so that drops him down to 2nd place.
Okay, so he's having a walk of the field. It looks like at the moment he's almost 100 points up on Sanders. Cotton down there, 3rd place, 320.
Yes.
Tied with McLaughlin for 4th. 3rd and 4th place tied up. Michael Harris and Ian Silva, 5th, 6th. There's a 1 point difference. Eric and Mike Scamia are tied for 7, 8, and 9, 10's tied up. So really, it's just the top 1, 2 spots have that big separation. Everybody else is pretty close. 16 points between 2nd and 3rd, and then you just have a bunch of ties between the two positions behind that. So as of right now, it's looking like Dustin's going to have a slump over the next couple of weeks.
That's just 1-0X race, isn't it? I mean, I'm not sure. 100 points. I think Dustin took over the lead this race.
I'd have to go back and look at the
Robert Sanders was leading the points.
historical data there.
Yeah, it's all good.
But you ain't making. I don't think you're making a 100-point jump in one race. At least with our point system. Road series maybe, but not in our system.
No, you're right.
So
we're not even at the halfway point.
Yeah, we still have 3 drop races to factor in. Really interested in seeing in the truck series how those drop races pan out, because even Dustin's going to have 3. They're mandatory, so 3 of his races are going to drop. So we'll see how all that shakes out, and we'll just have to keep an eye on how this plays out. But I mean, he's consistent. Dustin's a consistent finisher. He's got 3 wins, 8 top 5s, and 9 top 10s on the season, and that's to go with his 359 laps that he's led. So he's, I mean, the next best person's Eric with 117 laps led. So he's up front quite a bit. So we'll see how the rest of the season goes here. I know we have a long race coming up here in 2 weeks. It's our endurance endurance event at Indy. So it ought to be a long race.
Crown jewel, as we would say here.
Yeah, crown jewel race. Sorry, I was trying to think of the word and then it escaped me. So I know it's a long race. So I threw out endurance.
Quit stealing all my road series lingo, will you?
That's exactly it. But this week, upcoming this Friday, we have the truck series out at Pocono. So long track, the tricky triangle ought to be interesting to see how everybody navigates that tunnel turn. Hopefully they don't try and do it too wide until the end of the race. I feel like Pocono's an underrated track on iRacing. I mean, if the racing's good, it puts on a great show. But if you have somebody that kind of gets out front and just runs away with it, it can seem like it's boring for the people watching. But I always enjoyed the track. There's multiple lines you can take through 1 and 2. The tunnel turn really rewards you if you can get through it better than somebody else. And turn, what is that technically? Is it 3, 4? Or is it just 3?
3.
Where's the tunnel?
The tunnel turn is the get out of here. There's the tunnel's underground, so they call it tunnel turn because you're driving over top of the tunnel.
Oh,
And if
I
you
want to
ever
drive
notice,
under. I want to drive through the tunnel.
well, if you ever notice this weekend, whenever you're driving over the tunnel turn, if you hit a bump and you kind of shift, that's actually like the structure of the tunnel messing with the track. So turns 3, you can generate a couple different racing lines down there, kind of to build speed for the straight stretch. So it's going to be interesting to see the different lines people take, the kind of racing we get out of it, and see if anybody employs any strategy runs for this in the truck series.
That was going to be my question: is how hard is it to fuel save at Pocono?
So I was thinking about that today, oddly enough, and I kind of feel like fuel saving at Pocono's, unless everybody's doing it, I feel like it's going to be kind of hard to make it pay dividends, just because you have the long straight stretch where you're going to be burning fuel. Unless you're drafting off of somebody, you're going to save a little bit, not much. But you have those long straight stretches where you're burning fuel, and sure, you can try and coast it through turns 1 and 3, but that tunnel turn, you don't want to be coasting it through that. You want to be taking advantage of that. That's a great overtaking opportunity coming out of the tunnel turn. If somebody doesn't hit it just right, they either scrape that wall or they lose a ton of speed coming out of that. So, in my opinion, I know it's a long answer, but I don't see fuel saving being as big a story as it is at the intermediate tracks that we just came off of. Justin, you have any thoughts on that?
Just gonna rip it, bud.
Let it rip, Tater Chip.
Ain't gonna
Okay,
win, so it ain't gonna matter to me.
there you go. So, Cup Series was also out at Homestead, Miami. So this one I did participate in. I was one of the drivers in it, and Justin as well. James, you got to call it solo, correct?
I did. This one was all me. Michael was doing his daddy duties. So, yeah, it was incredible race. I don't even know where to start, man. I mean, we can start from the very beginning. Ty Williams, on the pole. So, shout out to him.
What was the? Did you see the times for the pole by chance?
No, I didn't.
He ended up beating Dustin out. What was it, a thousandth of a second, Justin?
Wow.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it was really close to snatch that pole away from Dustin. He laid a heck of a lap.
It is quali lap. 32.943 to a 32.840. So yeah, less than a tenth.
Yeah, so it's close. I mean, when you lay a lap and you feel like, man, that's a fast one. It's going to be hard to beat. And then somebody comes in and just barely outdoes you. That one kind of stings at the heart a little.
I mean, that can literally amount to the slightest movement in the rear where you just lost that precious extra traction or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, small wobble in the steering wheel. I mean, it's
Yeah.
many
A
things.
little scrub of your front end, you just there's your half a tenth easily.
Yeah. Yep. So, sorry, continue.
Yeah, we're going 134 laps again with the competition caution. So, and tires were going to be the big question mark. You're only having 2 sets of tires, so we're going to be top priority on tires. Once again, a good field, a good turnout. Did I see 23?
I think we had 21 in the race. I believe we had 21 participants in the race. I could be wrong, but
Yeah, all good. So I think that's a great turnout for the Cup Series. It's like everything's going status quo. Actually, Brandon Cotton did come in at the competition caution this time, so not going off strategy yet. A little smaller fuel tank, so we're pretty much going green the whole way.
So real quick, funny you mentioned that because I want to say it was before the race started. I didn't really look at the results past first and second. I just seen how close that was. So I didn't know where Cotton was in the field. At the beginning, I thought he was up front, but I should have known better. And then I see the green car rolling down pit road, and I'm like, oh, okay, he started at the back of the field.
Yeah,
I kind of knew something was up at that point.
I don't even think he took a quali lap.
I mean, smart idea for the strategy he played out, but yeah, yep.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It really came down to a strategy. 100% strategy. You know, we're going hitting pretty often, and you only take tires, like I say, every third stop, maybe. So it was just awesome racing. I don't remember.
Oh, you there, James?
My notes for this, I'm going to need some help. Yeah, I'm going to need some help because I did not have time to prepare for the Cup Series
Oh, you're good.
race. There was so much action going on in the trucks. But I mean, there was pretty much all green flag racing for the Cup Series.
Yeah, just to give you a quick synopsis on that, there were four caution flags throughout the race. We had the comp caution at the beginning, and then a long stretch of green flag runs. JT, I don't know about you, but I kind of came into this race with the mindset that I wanted to try and stretch this fuel tank as far as I could, and try to eliminate pitting that last. Just try and take one pit stop out of the end of the race. Did you go into the race with any kind of strategy in mind besides not burning up your tires?
I mean, yeah. I mean, personally, my strategy kind of changes throughout the race as it's developing, like depending on what pace I'm currently running, and try and adapt from there, right? Which once we got further in the run, the last 2 stops were, I guess the second to last was the one that was detrimental. But I mean, I was just trying to really take care of my tires, just to, there I tried. I practiced running the bottom if I had to. It wasn't my preferred lane. And compared to the trucks, I wasn't as comfortable putting it on the bottom. I think the trucks maybe rotated a little better mid corner to get those later apexes. If you're running the bottom at Homestead than the Cup car did. So my strategy really was to not run the bottom as much. as the trucks, but just to try and conserve the tires for the long run. And I think I was doing pretty good with it at first. I don't know if Dustin was like the leaders were starting to fuel save kind of, in the early stages of the race, because when I was sitting third, I was slowly starting to come back to Dustin and Eric when they were running up front. So I don't know if maybe I felt like, oh well, maybe I'm doing a good job on my tires, and then you get to the cycle where everybody's starting to take a set, and it's like, it's probably not going to last.
Yeah, so let's visit that real quick. So Eric had a missile of a car. He was running that top line quick, and he was able to put down some pretty good laps. But it was the first green flag. I believe it was the first green flag caution we had. Eric pulls on the pit road, goes to throw a set of tires on the car, but unfortunately pulls ahead of the stop line. And he must have ran his tank down to empty, because if I'm gathering correctly, Eric ran out of fuel in front of his stop line, so he couldn't back the car up and had to tow from his pit box.
No, I think what happened was he went. I think he pulled out of his stall. Something happened. He went to back up.
Yep.
And I don't know exactly how it works. Like, I don't know if you overshoot your pit box, if you have to get some of the back of your car, like out of the back of your pit stall, and then basically, hit or fill up, whatever button you use, if you have a button box or a button on your wheel to fill your fuel up. I don't know if you have to re-hit it or not. Yeah, that was a tough one for him, because that race was probably his to lose.
Well, I kind of remember him talking about this now, because he couldn't fuel up, so he had to leave pit road with hopes of getting back around, but he ran out of fuel on the backstretch.
Yeah, I don't even think he got. I don't think he even got to the backstretch. I think he was like kind of in the middle.
He might have
of
coasted around. I
two.
remember seeing him on the backstretch. Now that this jogged my memory on that.
I think he towed to the pits though, because I saw him slow. I moved the camera to him, and then he clicked, straight directly into the pit. So I think he towed after he ran out. So he didn't make it back.
Oh yeah. He towed. I think he ended up going down 3 laps because of the miscue on pit road, which that's not the first time it's happened to the 15 this season. It's been pit road. He's had quite a few issues this season where either the crew chief doesn't put tires on, he doesn't fuel up, or he speeds on pit road. So he's got to exercise some pit road demons over the next couple of weeks and try to get that thing back in shape. But so green flag pit stops are executed. Just from my point of view, the first pit stops, I kind of knew that so everybody knows the Cotton's going to try and get as much out of that fuel tank as possible, but I kind of had a good idea that he was stretching that thing to the max whenever I was fuel saving and I pit in, and I didn't hear the 5 call out pits until probably another 2 laps later, and I'm like, oh man, this guy means business tonight. He's really max fuel saving, and just to give him some props on this, he's found a good way to do it where he can maximize his lap times to where he's not like falling 2-3 seconds off the pace of the lap to try and save fuel. He's actually running pretty admirable. Exactly, pretty admirable lap times. So, I didn't get onto his fuel saving regimen until late in the race, but so we had tons of green flag pit stops happening. The leads being cycled through that. Cotton got to lead a couple laps with Eric exiting the race. The chase for the lead of the race, actually losing the possibility of winning the race until he gets his lap back. Dustin Reinstedel would inherit the lead, and he would hold on to that. There'd be a little bit of fire behind him from Ty Williams trying to get up there and compete for the lead and lead the race as much as they can. But ultimately, it was just a back and forth between them, and the strategy guys were playing out their strategies, trying to stretch fuel, and you got the guys in between just racing. We had a couple cautions occur. I want to say towards the end of the race.
Yeah,
Okay.
I remember John Cunningham got into Chris Thaler and spun around. I believe there was no contact too on that one.
Yeah, looking at it, that one.
Norm Snyder.
Yeah, that one did get reviewed after the race. Just by the admin team in general to see what's going on, and it looked like there was no contact in there. You could actually see the flames come out of the pipes on Chris's car to get off the fuel. As Cunningham was losing control of his car. So unfortunate, Norm was just a innocent bystander in there that kind of got caught up in it. But that
Goody's
caution, yeah, he definitely needed the goodies after that. But that was that the last caution in the race, or was there one more after that?
Yeah, there was one more. Devin was blinking pretty bad, and he either net coded or got into the 9 and spun around. And Robert Olafson, James Olafson's dad, nailed him as James was backing down the track towards the apron off of the wall. Here comes a 22 wide open into him. And that was lap 82 when the last caution flew. And we went green from lap 82 to 134. And that's where the fuel saving and the pit cycles really paid off.
Yeah, I was kind of worried in that last caution area because Justin and I know Dustin we all ended up pitting in thinking maybe this could be the last stop. And I was able to stretch that tank. Unfortunately, Justin and Dustin, you guys came up a couple laps short, correct?
Yeah, I tried to see if I could nurse it, and I was like, well, I need too much. It's not gonna, I wasn't gonna make it, so I was gonna lose more time. Potentially, at that time, I thought I would lose more time by trying to fuel save than just running it hard and trying to make the time on track,
Yeah. And Brandon, I believe, also pitted in with us on that last pit stop. I mean, he would have had to. I know he's great at saving fuel, but yeah, I believe he pitted in on that last pit stop. The head scratcher for me in that one, I believe, was Ty and Mike Scamilla didn't pit in. But ultimately, they ended up on the same strategy in a way as you and Dustin, where they needed to pit at least one more time.
Right.
I think they ended up pitting 6 or 7 laps after we went green. So maybe they were.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say maybe they were just hoping for a caution because I think we were getting into a point where we had a couple cautions within a handful of laps of each other. But maybe they were hoping for a caution to really shake it up and they could come in, pit, and not lose the group under green flag, if they had a yellow. But go ahead, James, what you were going to say.
Yeah, I was just going to say that with the lap 82 caution, that leaves 64 laps to the end by the time they go green. So it's hard to split that right in the middle. There was almost everybody pitted between the lap 104 to 107 mark, and you couldn't make it to 141 from there. So Brandon Cotton was the first one he ended up making it to lap 111. And so he did not need a splash where everybody else needed a yellow or a splash. And that was the big difference. And so if you needed a splash, I think the 11 came in to pit a little earlier in that sequence, try to make some time up on it. Once Brandon made his final pit stop at lap 111 and knew he could make it all the way, I think Dustin came in not too long after that. And then I thought Walker or Justin, you were my dark horse there for a little bit. I was thinking that you might make it since Walker couldn't, but it didn't work out for you.
I tried.
Yeah, you did. What's the key to fuel saving like that?
I don't know, you
Uh,
get content with just riding around in the back for half the race or something. I don't know.
and so
Because yeah, you
there's
made
a
it.
couple different disciplines to it. I know the most common one is just clutching it going into the corner. You can lose a lot of speed, but again, there's ways where you can make it competitive to where if you kind of ultimately you can run competitive lap times later in the run. In the beginning, these guys are going to take off. They're going to be running fast laps, but as their tires wear down and um as the run goes on, you can get the fuel saving to the point where you kind of equal time, and then you can kind of gain just a little bit, and you aren't at risk of going down a lap. So, and your hope when you're fuel saving like this is that you can eliminate the need for that final pit stop that Dustin or JT or uh,
Walker.
Walker, any of those guys. I don't know if Walker pit
Did it.
because he ran out of fuel coming off 4.
They pitted at 105 and 107, right?
Okay.
And made it. So that's
Oh,
laps.
he pit early. So he pit early and he ran out of fuel coming off of 4. Okay, I got it.
Well, you know what? To be honest, I was glad to just finish the race. You know, I had a 0x.
Yeah.
The 8 car wasn't ever around me, so I knew I had a really good chance of finally having a decent outing, and
Wow.
so I guess it worked out in the end either way.
Yeah. Yeah, ultimately, again, that strategy worked out for Cotton. Interested in seeing what kind of strategy he takes this weekend at Pocono because I don't know if the fuel saving is going to work out in my mind. I haven't ran any practice laps there to see what a comparable lap to fuel saving versus running it is.
What's
Brandon Cotton's already trying it out. He already knows his plan.
what's your strategy for Pocono? You don't have to
my
give all the details, but where's your head at?
my head, I'm gonna run. Yeah, Brandon Cotton's already in the chat. He's got 3 turns to save fuel next week.
Insane.
Oh man,
Wait! It can't be
don't be
that.
saving.
4 turns. What the hell? What do you
Yeah,
mean 3 turns?
don't be saving fuel in the tunnel turn, man. You gotta send it there. That's an overtaken corner. But honestly, I'm gonna go to it like I do every Pocono race. I'm going in there. I'm gonna try and battle for the lead some laps. This isn't going to be a fuel saving race for me, even though out of all of
Okay.
our races this season, I believe this is going to be the race that we go green every lap. Aside
Okay,
from
I'm gonna do the complete opposite. I'm gonna not qualify. I'm gonna start at the rear. I'm gonna be 30 miles off pace just to not be around you.
there you go.
I
I
just
like it.
I just wanted to prepare myself for what I have to do. So thank
Well,
you.
in all honesty, I mean, the only way you're going to be able to, I guess, flip the fuel saving. So, like somebody that's saving fuel and is eliminating a pit stop is you have to lap them. That's really the only way you're going to do it because once you lap them, you kind of get rid of that buffer they have because when you pit, it takes you a lap to get down pit road, get off it, get back up to speed. So,
Okay.
um, it's going to be hard to do because you're going to use your tires up in the process of trying to catch that person and lap them. But at
Well,
Pocono, I don't.
if you're leading and you're trying to lap me, I'm just gonna say good luck now.
This ain't Bristol, bud. You can't just hang the top line.
We'll see about
Back,
that.
yeah, back to it. Congrats, Brandon Cotton, on the win out at Homestead. Happy you got that one, man. Especially with the way you had that win bagged up at Charlotte and had that late race incident happen. So, glad to see you snagged this one and head off to Pocono with the fuel saving in mind. It looks like 3 turns. So. He did throw another little tidbit in the group chat that he was saying you could get the car in front of you really loose if you got close enough to him. In the cup car, he said, especially on that inside line. So, good to see that the aero is affecting the cup car in these kind of ways. But that would be like a reverse aero issue if I'm reading that correctly, because these new cars, it should be the car behind you gets loose. So iRacing has some work to do on that front, but so we'll go ahead and pull up the points here for the Cup Series. Definitely close in points here for everybody, I'd say. Dustin has the lead here. Justin, you're in second place at 365 points, tied with Eric Thaler, also at 365. So, you
Dang!
you guys can't let that guy below you sneak in there. Oh, both of them.
Well, either of them. Look, we got tie there too.
Yeah, 363 points, 2-point gap back to second and third place. First place isn't running away. It's a 7-point gap there. Brandon Cotton there lurking behind in sixth place. He's got a little bit of a comfortable cushion between himself and Ty and himself and Trevor McLaughlin. So he can he doesn't have to worry so much about blowing, but he wants to go up. So he's going to be fighting for good positions here.
So
go on.
So we first two observations. We need the Ford Brotherhood to step it up because we need more than just a couple of us up there. So all you Ford drivers, we need you to start racking up the points in the Cup Series. Second observation, you picked some really good screenshots. So if anybody watching, in the top, I'm the first car in the top line in the top left photo. So that's like right at the start of the race. I mean, that thing looks like I just pulled it off of the showroom. But if you look at the bottom, there's me in the bottom right, and you see how junked my car is? That's what happens when you race around the 8 car. So just so everybody's aware.
Do you also see in that bottom picture that 8 cars all the way up there behind the first place car?
I don't see any 8 car. What are you talking about?
Oh wait, no, that isn't. Anyways,
yeah, so you be quiet.
Yeah, watch it, buddy. Or Pocono's going to be Bristol Park too. So Trevor McLaughlin and Brandon Thayer pretty close there. It's a 5-point difference, and then 9 points down to Sean Cunningham in 9th place, and 4 points to Walker. So we have a really close battle here between all the drivers in the Cup Series. Couple bad races, you could see the top 10 flip completely. So this is good. I like seeing this. Nice tight battles. It gives everybody something to drive for here. So good job, guys. Keep up the hard work there in the Cup Series. Putting on a good show here. I mean, it's been fun to drive with everybody this season, and it's been competitive, and the points show it. So heading into Pocono, let's put on another good race. Like I said, Pocono is one of those racetracks where if things get strung out, it's going to be green flag the entirety of the race. So make sure you guys get some practice in. That's trucks and Cup. Both are out there, so everybody get your practice in and refine them strategies. That way you know what you're getting into this weekend. Guys, that's all I got. James, Justin, did I miss anything? James, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I'm just glad Trevor McLaughlin and Brandon Thayer had their best runs of the season in the Cup Series. And like you said, Ant, I'll reinforce that. Just incredible racing all across the league. So I'm real excited about what's the second half of the Oval Series, and super excited about the Road Series first race tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, non-points, just kind of an exhibition race. Like I said earlier, kind of a shakedown. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be hopefully a great season. Hopefully there's no drama week to week. As we've said it a million times before, regardless of any of the series, we focus on clean racing, respectful racing. So if you've changed either classes or if you've changed, car manufacturers in the same class, make sure you've got all the tendencies of that car figured out, and a week from tomorrow, we'll be kicking off week 1 at Twin Ring Motegi. So looking forward to it. Thanks for everybody who stuck around and continue to be a member here. And be sure to welcome all of our new members as well. A couple guys from the Oval Series have jumped across. Michael Semia, Ian Silva, Colin Huffman. There's been a couple guys, so some new faces, in the Road Series, but not new to the league, and some new guys as well. So our road crew is awesome. So if you're new, just ask. Guys are more than willing to help you out. Help each other grow and kind of get better and hone your skill set. And at the end of the day, it's just a hobby. We all just kind of want to have fun, get together. So set goals for yourself, some realistic goals, and have fun. I know it's a blast with all the cars on track, and the competition is really, really good in the Road Series. So there's battles all the way up and down. So if you have 1 or 2 bad races, don't sweat it. There's always next week, and be patient and have fun.
Yep, can't say it any better. So guys, just a quick reminder, everything throughout the podcast you've seen are screenshots grabbed by league members. So if you want your screenshots posted, grab something out of a race you're in or something you found cool or that you think somebody else find cool, send it in or post it in the respectful screenshot channel in whichever racing series you're participating in. Each one of them has one. And I'll get it up on the podcast. Secondly, if you're listening to the podcast and you enjoy what you're listening to, make sure you guys subscribe, like, and share. That way we can broaden the horizons on this thing, get some more people in the league that might find this interesting. So with that all said, everybody have a great week. We will see you all next week after the practice session and when the league finishes up their business out in Pocono. But until then, everybody stay safe and enjoy your week.
Stay in your lane.